What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus G15 Advantage gameplay. Well, not gameplay video, but video for you guys today. I'm so used to saying my little intro that hard to not say it, you know what I mean? I'm sure I messed up during the last time I did these a bunch of times and called it gameplay, but there will be no actual gameplay here. This is just a benchmark. But when the game actually comes out, I will absolutely buy it. I'll probably suck at it and be antisocial, but I'll at least be able to get you guys some data on it. But for now, we actually got the true driver for this game. So I figured it's only right if we come and redo it. Now, I waited a couple days. This usually happens to me. I'll wait like 3, 4, 5 days since the thing's a thing. Being like, all right, AMD, are you gonna come out with a thing for this? Like a driver update? Usually it goes no, like now. So I made them, and then like a day or two later, now AMD launched their 25.2.1 drivers. So here we are. We're gonna do my due diligence, and we're gonna redo the tests on the AMD systems. Now I'm not gonna do it on the Steam Deck or the Ally or the Firebat, because, well, besides the Ally, all the other ones failed. So no point in even trying. Not until Steam Deck itself tries to optimize, if it even does for this game. I just don't think that thing's gonna be power enough to play this game personally, but hey, I will happily be proven wrong if such a thing happens. So we're just gonna deal with the Asus G15 Advantage, then I'll go do the Alienware, and we'll finish up on the secondary PC. But I'm gonna do these in a separate video. I think it'd be too long if I combined all of them into one anyway. So let's not waste any more time, since I'm gonna have to watch lots of 6-minute benchmarks, and let's go get started.
Well, first off, we're gonna try just doing 1080p, native, and we're also going to use ray tracing on high, which is a little silly, I'm not going to lie. But the system still does much better than I thought it was going to do. I figured this was going to be like a 10, 15 FPS experience, but it actually hung out in the 30s a lot of the time. Couldn't quite, I don't believe it could average it, but it got close. But hey, let's go see how it does. Okay, never mind, I was wrong. It averaged 45. But if I recall, watching it, it did drop down into like the low 20s for a couple little bits. One time was jumping through the little rocks, and then through the field, and then in town, it was probably the worst. I think towns are gonna be pretty CPU intensive, just like Dragon's Dogma 2 was. All right. Now we'll turn on some FSR on balanced. And now FrameGen is working, so we'll actually get to test that this time around. When I had the old drivers, I couldn't test it. It crashed the game immediately upon turning it on. So I was like, well, that's great. The game basically says it needs this to run properly, and I can't turn it on. Fantastic. But with the correct drivers, everything seemed to be okay. But it's not like they worked miracles. It's not like we got an extra 20, 30 FPS out of it, but it definitely helped a teeny bit, especially with the frame gen. All right, this time we averaged 53. Still couldn't average quite 60, but well over the 30, 40 that a lot of people would run at. And ignore the GPU driver version. For some reason, it's reading the one for the stupid integrated graphics, and there's no way integrated graphics would be getting 53. It'd be getting like 5, so it is on the correct drivers. So now, again, still at 1080p, of course. We're not going to change that on you guys. So honestly, I don't got to show that page, but I just do, just so people are curious can see. We're going to turn on a little frame gen now. It's enabled. It actually lets us do it without crashing. Well, I shouldn't have said that yet, but it did work out. I hadn't quite run it yet. It could have just crashed on me the second I ran the benchmark, but luckily it did not and just ran fine. But hey, let's go see how it did. Well, all right, this time we got 93, but of course that's with frame gen, so it's not real. But it did appear to like make things slightly smooth, but again, I can't play the game, so I can't really comment on smoothness of frame gen and all that, since I'm basically just watching a movie for all intents and purposes. But in any case, let's go tone it down to the next graphics set. All right, this time around, we're just going to do Ultra without the ray tracing, because not everybody cares about it, but I wanted to include it, because some people do like ray tracing and are curious how AMD can handle it. And it does better than usual, but I think this is a pretty light RT title. I think it's just like either reflections or lighting or something like that. But we're going to do native AA this time. Because, I don't know, I think it looks better than freaking FX AA and TAA combined, which is what this game does normally. It's like combines the two worst anti-aliasing technologies together. By our powers combined, we are Captain Blurry. Well, all right. Unfortunately, well, no surprise, it could not still hit 60 FPS on Ultra. But it wasn't that far away of averaging it, at least, but it still had lots of frame drops, so Ultra probably would not be the way to go if you're looking for smooth. We shall now do what we did during the ray tracing part and just put on a little FSR to try to help it out. Now, I'm just doing the PC specs. And all right, let's go see how it does now. All right, so high, we finally got excellent. Was 62. Still had drops though, so not perfect, but definitely so far the best way to play. But let's keep on messing with settings and see what we can do. All right, keeping all this the same. And now we're gonna enable frame gen on high. Quickly go through the rest of these settings here, just so you guys can see what it all adjusts. And all right, let's go run the bench. All right, high with frame gen now. We got 113, obviously not real, but luckily it doesn't let you do any shenanigans. It tells you frame gen right there, so nobody can sit there and be like, oh dude, look how good my computer is. This is 100% stock native. And it's like, nope, no it's not. It says frame gen, so get owned, you know? All right, now we're gonna tone her down to medium. It says custom, but it's medium. We're gonna do native first, just like we've done on the rest of the stuff. It's kind of what we do. We do native, then we do FSR, then we do frame gen and move on to the next one. That's kind of what I figured I felt like doing for this. So now, let's see how it did. All right, so we got 56 FPS. And then there's the rest of the info there. But all right. Now, I guess let's go turn a little FSR on. Well, now here we go. We're going to try the same thing, medium, but now we're going to throw some FSR in there. And I'm just using the presets, so it's doing performance. I don't think that's really that necessary, but that's what it wants to do with the preset, so that's what I'm letting it do. At the very end, I kind of fiddle around a little bit and do what I would do if this was my only system kind of thing. But anyway, let us get to the bench again. So this time around, we got excellent, of 65 average this time. So definitely not too awful, but still couldn't maintain a constant 60, unfortunately. But now we move on. So now here we go. We're going to throw a little frame gen in the mix now that it's actually letting me use it. Didn't even get to test that the first time around. All that would happen is crash on all my computers, not just the AMD. My NVIDIAs couldn't use it either. In fact, those just had an update for other games. It didn't mention this game, but I'm halfway tempted to just go and try it out. And at least go and see if I can't go and test out a little FSR frame gen, you know? Well, this time we got an average of 121 fake frames with the medium preset and FSR and frame gen all combined. But obviously without being able to play, I can't tell you how much lag there is from the frame gen and all that good stuff. We'll have to wait for the real game for that. All right, here we go. Oops. Hold on a second, there we go. I forgot, that doesn't... Most games will default back to where it was. Some games keep you where you left off. I guess I left off somewhere else this time. But yeah, we're not trying low. So here's the settings I would use.
Well, all right, let's get ourselves a little camera recorded of the benchmark here. And I also turned on the stat window here just so we could get a little bit more than the benchmark tells us. So now let's just run it. Luckily, it doesn't take too long to load. But better than trying to guess when it's going to start, you know? And then my camera needs a second or two once it does start, so it's kind of hard to get it right when you want it. So it's better to just get it started before you start. So that's what I did.
見つかるといいな。
あれで近づこう。できるのですか？やってみろ。僕も行く。
usually fails, but I think with FrameGen's help masking it, it's not so bad, but I can't control, so I don't know how bad or intrusive the FrameGen feels. We'll have to test that out once the game comes out for real. Yeah, definitely still not a very impressive looking game for how it runs. And I could have sworn the grass looked better the first time around. Now it looks like it usually does with FSR and whatnot. It looks kind of eh. At least it's not shimmery. It just looks blurry. Before, in the olden times, it would be like blurry and artifacty and shimmering like crazy. And at least this time, no crashes whatsoever. So it was just the fact that I didn't have the right drivers, I guess. It even warns you, we recommend using the latest drivers. I would have. They weren't out yet. Now they are, so I'm fixing it. And throwing a little bit extra effort in. Which takes a long time, but really it's just sitting here watching a video, basically, and keeping your eye out on the FPS. And then the whole time until I did turn the camera on, I just was listening to YouTube in the background while I watched the FPS. So, it's not that bad. Just time consuming. And alright, and that's pretty much that. Let's just really quickly so you guys can see. We'll just get rid of that real quick. Close. And then you can see, we pretty much got the exact same as we did before. But with that, why don't we go ahead and go wrap this video on up. Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Monster Hunter Wilds Benchmark with the correct drivers. And you can definitely get playable FPS if you use FrameGen and upscaling and all that stuff, but kind of a shame that you have to rely on all that for a game that doesn't really look all that impressive. I personally think it's because they're trying to use that RE engine again. It's a great engine for the Resident Evil games, no doubt about that. Most of those games run just absolutely spectacularly, with minimal lag and at like hundreds of FPS, even with ray tracing on most stuff, even AMD. But when you try to make it do wide open worlds like in Dragon's Dogma 2, and in this game, it seems to fall flat on its face, and you run into CPU bottlenecks and all sorts of other issues. So I'm sure they can tune it up a little bit, but I have a feeling it's gonna be like Dragon's Dogma 2, and we're just gonna get into cities and towns, and it's just gonna, our FPS is gonna tank. Even when you're using FrameGen, when you're controlling it, I'm sure you're gonna notice that shit come to a crawl. I'll test it out when the game comes out, and I'd be happy to be wrong, but that's pretty much what I'm predicting so far, from what I've seen here. But in any case though, that's all I got for this particular video. I'm gonna go mosey myself on and go do the 1440p version of the same video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video though, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.